Hi, I'm Steve. Welcome to my shop. Today in the continuing series on sliding table saw purchase considerations, we're going to cover the scoring unit. Do you need to score or don't you? And that's really going to be dependent upon you. I've broken this out as a separate video because if you don't use sheet goods, either melamine, high pressure laminates, or veneered plywoods, you're probably not interested in this video, and you probably do not need that option. So I'm going to cover the various configurations that you can get in a sliding table saw for the scoring unit, and let's get to it. Okay, so I've got the machine chip flap open. This is obviously the main blade. This is the scoring blade, and if you note that this does rotate in the reverse rotation from the main blade, it rotates at a much higher speed, so when you're feeding the material, the sheet goods, this will be performing a climb cut, and you need to be aware of that just for control purposes. So the scoring blade is a two-piece set, and it has shims between it, and you adjust the width of the kerf to be slightly wider than the main blade. So the scoring saw attachment is intended to give you chip-free product on handling sheet goods on both sides of the cut. The main blade handles the top side, the scoring blade handles the bottom. So the scoring blade is not a through cut. On some saws, on some sliding table saws, this comes as a standard configuration. Others, it's an option. I am not aware of any sliders that you cannot get this scoring attachment on. There may be some out there, but this does need to be added when you order your machine or when you're purchasing a used one. There's two ways to get this scoring unit. One is what's called a mechanical system, and in essence, it's still electrical. The arbor for the scoring unit is actually driven from the main arbor, and that's what they mean by the mechanical system. So if you get the electrical version, this has its own motor, separate from the main motor, and for whatever reason, they always seem to be a 1 horsepower motor. I don't know why it needs to be that large, but it typically is. If you get the mechanical system, typically what you'll see is this scoring unit will be much closer to the main blade just because of the length of the belts. And you'll usually see this only on machines that will take a 10 or 12-inch main blade. And in some of those machines, if the scoring blade is installed, you can only have a 10-inch blade installed. The machine may still take a 12-inch blade, but in order to get the 12-inch blade on there, just because of the space between them, you'll have to remove the scoring blade. Another thing you'll see on the mechanical systems is the manner in which the scoring blade gets risen just slightly above the table to make its cut. There's two ways to do that I'm aware of. The first method is for the scoring unit to be tied with the blade raising mechanism of your main unit. And that is, in essence, in order to get that blade above the table, you have to raise the main blade all the way to the top to get sufficient height on the scoring unit. What that does, for a larger blade, it actually exposes quite a bit of the blade. And the other way, and I've never owned a machine like that, but there's a separate mechanical mechanism where you have to manually raise this above the table and then lower it back below when you're done. So those are the two ways to raise the scoring unit on a mechanical system. On an electrical system, they're typically automatic. This particular saw has a pneumatic system, and when you turn the scoring motor on, assuming you have air supplied to the machine, it will pop up very quickly to the appropriate height. The other method to raise the scoring blade for the electrical system is either by solenoid or motor. I'm not sure what they are, but when you turn the scoring blade on, it will automatically raise the scoring blade to the appropriate height. So that covers the scoring unit. Whether you need it or not, it really depends on whether you mess with sheet goods. There's a whole spectrum of ways to adjust it, adjust the position and the height, whether it be mechanical adjustments, electrical adjustments, and even the very high-end saws. They have it to where you can adjust the width of the scoring unit on the fly while the machine's running. So I don't have that, and I don't, I've set mine up once, and I honestly, I just don't touch it. It keeps its setting, it does its job well, and I would imagine that after I had so many sharpenings on my main blade, I might need to adjust the width to make it narrower, but anyway, so far I haven't had to do that. I hope this has been informative to you on the scoring unit. Again, feel free to post any questions or comments you may have, and I still encourage other slider owners to participate in the discussion, to provide input and feedback. And I do thank you for watching, and have a great day.